Welcome back to Season 2 of EDH Rec. We are sorry for the long wait, but should be back for a full season. Just a reminder, if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing and hitting the like button, and maybe even sharing to your friends. And I know this is gonna sound weird, but maybe get your gran to sub. I mean, she's never on YouTube anyway. Now, without further ado, the opening hands. First off today is Lliam piloting Arcades the Strategist, which is a defender deck that aims to put out a solid board presence while cantripping with Arcades. He starts with Orator of Ujjatai, Return to the Ranks, Stalwart Shield Bearers, Swiftfoot Boots, Tree of Redemption, Seaside Citadel, and a Temple of Enlightenment. Herman comes in at second, piloting Radha, Heart of Keld, which is a Lands Matter Gruul beatdown deck, originally based off of a Mina and Den Wildborn deck. His opener includes Berserk, Escape to the Wilds, Kazandu Mammoth, Rubble Hulk, 2 Forests, and a Mountain. Third is Chibi's, playing Siona, Captain of Pyles, which is an aura-based combo deck seeking to make infinite 1/1 soldiers off of Shielded by Faith and Siona. He has Fertile Ground, Heliod's Pilgrim, Reprobation, Season of Growth, Sixth Sense, Forest, and a Wooded Bastion in hand. And finally we have Crispin, a guest from the Easy Gaming group, who is piloting Niv-mizzet Reborn. This 5-color deck looks to play a lot of multicolored spells and gain grinding advantage from Niv-mizzet's ETB. His opener consists of Drawn from Dreams, Frilled Mystic, Castle Vantress, Horizon Canopy, Savai Triome, Watery Grove, and, only keeping 6, Crispin tucked Memorial to Genius to the bottom with the London Mulligan. Lliam kicks today off by drawing and playing a Temple of Enlightenment, tapped and then scrying to the bottom. Herman goes next by playing a Forest and passes. Chibi draws and plays a Wooded Bastion, then also passes. Crispin draws and plays a Savai Triome, tapped. On turn 2, Lliam plays Seaside Citadel tapped and ships it to Herman, who draws and plays a Mountain, then passes. Chibi, after drawing, plays a Scattered Grove, keeping with the tempo, then passes. Crispin draws and puts Watery Grove into play tapped, and also passes. Lliam untaps, draws, and plays an island, and taps 2 for Swiftfoot Boots. On Herman's turn, he draws, plays a Forest, and then casts Radha, Heart of Keld, and also passes. Chibi untaps and draws in his upkeep, then plays a Forest, and taps 2 to enchant Scattered Grove with Fertile Ground, and follows up by casting Season of Growth, then passes. Crispin starts his turn with an untapped Castle Vantress, and with nothing else, passes. After untapping, Lliam casts a Sol Ring and then taps it for Tree of Redemption, and passes. Herman untaps and draws, then mutates Gem Razor onto Radha, destroying Swiftfoot Boots. He then plays a Mountain and swings Radha at Chibi. Chibi untaps and draws for turn, then puts a tapped Myriad Landscape into play. Following that, he casts Siona, Captain of Pyles, revealing Utopia Sprawl, and misses the Season of Growth scry. He then taps and enchants his forest with Utopia Sprawl, naming White. Crispin draws and puts Horizon Canopy into play, then casts Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths, taking a damage from Canopy, then binning Mystical Dispute for 2 unknown cards. Lliam untaps, draws, and taps out for Arcades the Strategist, and then hits Herman for 13. Herman plays a Corpulsion Forest for turn, then follows with Ogre Battle Driver, and passes. Chibi untaps, draws, and plays a Forest, then casts Heliod's Pilgrim, finding up Shielded by Faith. He then scries to the top. Next, he casts Shielded by Faith, targeting Siona, drawing a card and creating a soldier. This triggers Shielded by Faith, enchanting the soldier and creating another from Siona, making infinite 1/1 soldiers, then passes. Crispin untaps, draws, then plays Temple of Triumph, scrying top. He then, knowing a board wipe is coming, abrupt decays Shielded by Faith. Next, he plays Justicare's Portal on Atlas, flickering him and choosing to bin Kaya, Oars of Usurper. He then passes. Lliam untaps and plays a Plains, and casts Fell the Mighty, targeting Tree of Redemption, wiping the board. Then he swaps life totals with Tree of Redemption, going to 13 life, making a big tree. Herman untaps and draws, and casts Tireless Tracker, then passes. Chibi's untaps and draws, then casts Reprobation, targeting Tree of Redemption. Next, he casts Gideon Blackblade, upticks without targeting, and then plays Lignify on Tireless Tracker. Finally, he passes. Crispin untaps and plays Sulphur Falls. He then follows by tapping for Drawn from Dreams, and passes discarding to hand size. Lliam untaps and immediately casts Beast Within on Reprobation, giving Chibi a Beast token. He then plays land tax and passes. Herman starts his turn with a Forest, and then replays Radha, Heart of Keld, and passes. Chibi untaps and draws, then casts Kenrith's Transformation on the tree. In response, Lliam switches life totals again, then Chibi draws off of Transformation, and plays Mangara the Diplomat. Before combat, he upticks Gideon for lifelink on Beast token, then hits Crispin for 3, and passes. Crispin untaps and plays a tapped Temple Garden, and follows up with Vraska, Golgari Queen. He then downticks her to kill Gideon, and passes. Lliam untaps and finds up 2 forests and an island from land tags. He then puts a forest into play and taps a lot for Arcades the Strategist, and passes. Herman draws and plays Flame Tongue Kavu, targeting Mangara, and then casts Scoot Mob. Moving to combat, he attacks Vraska with Radha, and passes. Chibi subsequently untaps and plays 6th Sense on his Beast, drawing from Season of Growth, and looking for another draw, he hits Crispin for 3 and draws. Next, he plays Fortified Village, revealing a forest. He then wipes the board with Dusk and passes. Crispin untaps, draws, and plays Obsidat Ghost Council, draining Lliam for 2. In response, Chibi cracks Myriad Landscape for 2 planes. Then Crispin passes. Lliam untaps and fetches 2 planes and a forest. He then plays one of those planes. Next up, he casts Teo the Shield Mage, and downticks for a 0-3 wall token. He then casts Slackworm Armor and equips his now 0-9 wall, then passes. Herman untaps and puts 4 counters on Scoot Mob. Next, he casts Valakut Exploration and plays Kazandu Valley, triggering Valakut's landfall, revealing a forest. He then swings 5 damage at Chibi and goes to his end step, putting the forest into the graveyard and pinging everyone for 1. Chibi starts by playing a forest and then taps half his mana for Siona, Captain of Piles, followed by Skullclamp as bait, and finally replenish, getting back Kenrith's Transformation, Reprobation, Shielded by Faith, and 6th Sense, with Shielded by Faith and 6th Sense enchanting Siona, and Reprobation on Scoot Swarm, and Kenrith's on Obsidat, drawing a card. Then he passes. Crispin untaps and cycles Lonely Sandbar, digging for answers. He then plays Azorius Chancery, tapped, bouncing Castle Vantress. Desperately, he plays Escape to the Wilds, revealing Niv-mizzet Perun, Memory Drain, Skyline Cascade, Genesis Ultimatum, and Hypersonic Dragon. Next, he plays Ragran Triumph and passes. Lliam untaps and land taxes 2 planes and a forest out. He then plays a planes and taps out for Arcades again. Next, he makes another wall from Teo and passes. Herman plays a mountain for turn, revealing Bone Crusher Giant with Valakut Exploration. Following that up, he plays Escape to the Wilds, revealing 2 mountains, Portswood Crasher, Baduka Gardener, and Yavimaya Dryad. He plays another mountain, revealing a forest. Next, he plays the Dryad so that he can look through his deck to see what answers the deck runs, and finds a forest, revealing a mountain. Then he attacks Chibi with Scoot Mob and plays Berserk on it, hitting Chibi for 7, and then the table for 3 off of Valakut Exploration. Chibi untaps and moves to combat, killing the table. Before we get into the stats, I want to ask all you guys to check out Crispin's YouTube and Twitch, where he plays a bunch of stuff and a ton of Arena. I want to mention Season of Growth as possibly the best card of the game. However, this was a new deck for me, and I had often forgotten the interaction it has with the main combo. I could have potentially tutored up Replenish, Crashing Drawbridge, or Hall of Heliod's generosity, which would have kept me more relevant. Again, I just wanted to say, you all got this far. Hit like and subscribe, and if you believe in our content, share it as well. It would mean the world to us here at EDH Rec. Also, small shout out to Chibi.